Welcome to The Whole Note. My name is Kenneth L. Jr., and I'm here with a guest that is very, very special to me. She is a singer, an actress, a poet, and a published author. It is my honor to introduce Alyshia Bradley.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Kenny.
Oh, honey, of course. We're talking about the musical that both you and I have had such a passion and a history with. Granted, we've never done it, but like it's a musical that we both hold dear, and that is Passing Strange. But first, Alyshia.
Really any other musical?
But first, Alyshia, go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, like Kenny said, I am Alyshia Bradley, aka the Mocha Goddess. That is my stage persona. I am an actress and an amateur model, a published author. I have 2 books out currently and one that's being illustrated. The first book is called Thank You, Resiliency, but I am tired, and it details a breakup via poetry and short story and prose. It's kind of like looking into my diary, and it addresses all the things, the good, the bad, the ownership, the blaming, the emotions, the physical desire and need of someone truly grieving and going through. I read somewhere that going through a breakup, it's kind of like going through withdrawal. So it's very much a withdrawal in poetry. And then the second book is called I See You, Mocha Mocha, and it is dedicated to my mother, and it's a coming of age story. It's another combination of poetry and short stories, and all of it is true. It's all my life, it's all true, and the stories are things that I've witnessed that were just too beautiful, raw, human to pass up. And it just blew my mind, and I had to mad scribble it down. And now here it is a few years later in a book. So you can buy both of those on Amazon. And that's kind of it. I just consider myself a living artist. I do and go where the art takes me, and I meet cool people like Kenny, who we can nerd out and art out about one of my favorite musicals ever.
Oh, girl, we about to go in. We are about to go in on this musical.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, so let's talk about the show. Passing Strange was it debuted in 2008. The music and lyrics are by Stew. And give me 1 second, I just want to verify. Yes, I'm sorry. The lyrics and book is by Stew, and the music is by Stew and Heidi Rodewald. I hope I said that correctly. It debuted on Broadway, and it was a totally different vibe of a musical than most musicals have been. And that's what draw both of us to it directly. And Keith Height repeatedly said that we should do Passing Strange before he leaves. Yeah. Just for clarification, Keith Height was our college theater professor, who, great guy, we love him dearly. What are your thoughts on the show, Alyshia?
Oh, every time I watch and or listen to this show, it just reveals a little bit more, or I get a deeper understanding from it. Keith told me about the show. I was a sophomore in college, and he was like, yeah, it's an all-black rock musical. And I was like, rocking. Okay. And then he showed me a few videos of his, a few videos from the show on, his computer. And I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Definitely weird. Then I finally watched the whole thing, and I was like, art.
Listening to it and watching it are 2 totally different experiences.
Because there's certain things that you need that piece certain parts of the songs together that it's not in the soundtrack, but it would make more sense if they had like those little in-betweens you need more. You need more. Like for example, they were making fun of the noir film style, him and his mom's fight right before Merci Beaucoup, because it's like, okay, she just sang a beautiful song, and then that's where the fight scene is supposed to happen, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's just off to Amsterdam, and there's some chicks are singing la 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 la. Like listening to that, and I didn't know the context. I'm like, if I did not know the context, I would be like,
what is going on? This is a drastic change.
Yes. Especially because Mom Song.
We will get to that.
I don't want to jump the gun.
All right, let's go ahead and break this show down. We're probably not going to go track by track, because like there's a lot of, I don't want to say filler, but there's a lot of songs that it's hard to explain without the scenes prior. All right, let's start off with the opening number, which is Prologue, We Might Play All Night, which truthfully, that song, or at least that title, is very, very true. There's a song that comes later on, which we'll talk about as well, that Stew does not stop playing until everyone is on their feet in the audience. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, honestly, you had no choice but to stand on your feet, because it's just, ugh. But you're introduced to Stew, and he introduces the band, which is really fun because the band is also a part of the show. But like they have no spoken lines, but like all of their reactions are to what's happening on stage.
And the version I have, the Spike Lee directed like stage adaptation for film, whatever. So the band is in the stage. Like they get lowered down. The way the stage is set up, it's kind of like a small black box type stage, and they're just kind of in these little pods sunk into the stage, and the actors are acting around them, and it's awesome. So powerful.
So beautiful. So beautiful.
Oh my God, I just thought of something else because we said that too. I'm gonna write it down. It's fine.
Is it for later on, or do you want to go ahead and say it now?
Well, okay. I mean, it could fit both. It could fit both. So the band being like lowered down into the stage, and how Youth, as he is called, he goes and ends up turning to and finding music, and that becomes his real. So the band, they're lowered into the stage. You would have to see the, Spike Lee film adapted version, but there's an orgy scene, and they're in the same place that the band was lowered into at the time. Music, real, sex, just, full circle there. Like so many things are done on purpose for embellishment. Love it. Okay.
The next song is kind of the song that whenever I hear it, I'm like, yeah, that's true. And that's the Baptist Fashion Show.
Those catty church bitches, give me the blues. Lord, look at these shoes. Ugh.
It's so truth, because it's, as African Americans, we all go to or have been to that one church that you're just like, wow, everyone is wearing designer everything. And like the big gaudy hats, just everybody's like, if the first lady of the church isn't dressed to the nines, then something's wrong, kind of thing.
They are whispering in the pew.
And
the Holy Ghost ain't been there since 1972.
And it's one of those songs to where you see where the main character identifies church with. He doesn't see church as a necessity. He just like, I'm just here to look pretty.
For me, it's the first introduction to his angst. And that's a lot of, I drew that, as a parallel to myself and a lot of Black youth. They go to church, they got to wear the tie, and just because mom said so. Mama said you got to go to the Baptist fashion show. And it's proven in the musical that that's a part of his angst. Because in Soul Brother, he's like, my mom stands in doorways begging me to conform, be a good football player and snazzy Christian brother, so the sisters won't be able to tell you from another. Like that, it's punk rock. That's literally angst. So him associating his mother with Black church, and we know some of the horrors and the trauma that can come with that, that is setting our character up for some serious heartache, which of course he does get.
Mhm.
Oh, so good.
The next song is Church Blues Revelation and Freight Train. I love how this song starts off with like this gospel beat, but then it like divulges into a tribal African beat. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're equating well, a lot of gospel hymns come from slavery. So it's like a nice little callback.
Right. I think the swelling that happens in the beginning and him having the realization, or I guess feeling what he interpreted as the time was God, and it may very well be. I am one of those people who think that, okay, if God is truly God, and he is, like, he's in everything, even in his revelation, music is the freight train in which God travels. Why can't it be? In the context of the story, that is not the real that he needs. The real he needs is love, which, okay, everybody gets a little distracted, swept away in the rock and roll of it all. But I believe you can get your God wherever, I gotta be careful. You can get God in so many places, and music is definitely one of them. So I definitely related with him there.
The next song is Arlington Hill. Now, there's a lot of scenes prior to this, and you're introduced to several characters. One of them is actually named Franklin Jones, who is the choir director and also the pastor's son, who also just so happens to be gay. But like it's hinted at, and it's sort of said, and you just go, got it. Don't gotta say much. But they're in the pastor's car and they're smoking weed. And you're just like, oh, this is a change. And it's also like the first inkling that we see that youth is starting to go, oh, I can actually let loose. And it's also, hold on, I wrote this down. It's also the first time that we started hearing Everything Is All Right towards the very, very end. And you're like, oh, because that becomes like a recurring sort of theme.
Yep, it's all right.
Going later on. What do you think of this song, Alyshia?
I love Arlington Hill. To me, I view youth, he's on a journey. He's searching for something. And Arlington Hill is the first, well, I guess now the second place in a sense that he feels he's found it. First was hearing the rock and roll, and that, using that with church and spirituality. And then of course, unfortunately, we did not mention this, but his mother slapped him and said, yes, you're not supposed, don't you know you're not supposed to mix the sacred and the profane? So I know if someone had said that to me, which, me and my spiritual walk right now, I'm very much I'm wrestling with the intersection between life and what should be sacred and what is art and all that stuff. But she really did slap him back into himself. She's like, he was trying to get excited. He was excited about something in her world that they could share together. And she's like, no, that's so incorrect. Oof, that hurt me. I remember, oh gosh. But Arlington Hill, back to that, he's found something else. Smoking weed. He's
Mhm.
found acceptance with someone from the church who too smokes weed along with, the other bad kids from the church. Yeah. Who
The
just,
bad kids.
yeah, want to see things a little bit differently. So now he has that rejection from his mother slapped him right into the arms of the thing that took him away and helped in that. He sees it as, an aid or a help when you could argue it both ways, man. Oh man. Okay. Let's keep going. Soul Brother.
Oh my God. I love this song because of its double meaning.
Yes.
and
He's
and just
the
the
only
angst
black one around.
and it's like it's the song is SOLE, but it is like you get the SOUL out of it as well. And it's done by his punk rock band.
Yes.
And it's like how he's like, I'm not like all the other African Americans. You can't just group me in and tell me to play basketball or football or whatnot. I am literally a soul individual. I'm a soul brother.
Mm-hmm.
I related to that so hard.
Yes. Yes. His angst of from not fitting in the religious sect, and now he's not fitting in quite as what a black man is supposed to be.
Mhm.
Poor baby, he's just having a hard time. The
He's
youth,
like, I
the
just want
youth.
to be accepted by people. I literally just want to be myself. But the thing is, he doesn't know what himself is yet.
He even says it in the song. We got that little introduction of "It's All Right in Arlington Hill," and then in Soul Brother, the girl in the band, she's echoing. He says, "I'm the soul brother," and she says, "And he's not all right." I'm the soul brother, and he's
I'm
not
a
all right.
soul backwards. Yeah.
Yo, I sing that normally at least like once a week. It goes so hard. He goes off. He truly does. Listen to that song. It's punk rock brilliance.
The next song is "Must Have Been High," and when I first heard this song out of context of the show, I was like, this song is very trippy. And then when you see when you see it in context with the show, it is literally an LSD trip.
Yeah.
It's his first time
Flipping chairs and like going in circles.
Mhm. Just the staging of this song on the stage is like, whoa, they are literally going hardcore in on this. Okay.
One dude's like rubbing the band member's hair. Lost in it.
That's what I love about the band, because even though they're there, they are interacted with as if they are actually a part of the show, which they technically are a part of the show. What are your other thoughts on this particular song, Alyshia?
I think Must Have Been High. That when I hear that phrase, that to me that alludes to someone making a choice about something, and maybe it's not the best. He did that dumb stuff. Must have been high. Must have been high. That sort of thing. And putting it in the context of the show, he is now, a little bit older, angsty teen. I imagine he's around 17, 18. And this is right before the discord with the mom comes up. The mom song, the little noir, "This brings me no joy." Like that whole scene. I wish that was on the freaking track list. God, it was so good. And but he has now been introduced to two things: the Church Blues Revelation, Arlington Hill, and he has said, "This is how I see myself in Soul Brother." He, in his lovely little youth, at 18, 19, you think you know everything. He's put it together in his mind that, boop, I don't belong on here.
Mm-hmm.
And must have been high when she says, I'm a bird up in a tree. And the other dude's just staring at the TV. The other dude in the band ended up getting afraid. He was just staring at the TV. There's a reason there's a reason that's the lyric. She wanted to be a bird in a tree and be free. And that's what he gravitated to toward the song. The other guy got stuck watching the TV and ended up freaking out and getting all scared and, oh my God, I'm aging and all this other stuff. He ended up on a bad trip. But no, that LSD trip solidified in his little youthful brain. Oh my God, I'm so correct. My mom doesn't know what she's talking about. I need to leave and be great. I am the soul brother. Oh man, he did some dumb stuff. Must have been high. And it was dumb stuff.
Next song we have is the Mom song, which this song to me, it's like the mother's fear. Actually, it's like any African American's mother's fear. Like she's like, okay, my son is growing. I'm let him go, but he's still my baby, and I will always be there for him. But like this was right after the noir scene. No, is it right after or right before?
It's right after.
Right after. And the youth is off to Amsterdam. And I'm like, why Amsterdam of all places? I guess it's, at least to me, how I see it is, Amsterdam has always been sort of the quote unquote land of the free because anything and everything can go on there. Mm-hmm. Which brings us to, oh, I'm sorry. Did you have any thoughts on this song?
Mom song. So rich, so much poetry, of course.
Yes, that is literally a perfect way of saying it. Poetry.
Yeah, it really is. It's a poem. If I just read it straight, that's what I would think. But she says, see, I've been running from this world for far longer than you, but I didn't know where else to go, so I hid from it in you. It's like, so she's telling him she's been just as lost before. She ended up having a kid. She hid from it in him. So does that mean the kid was the answer? Oh, I ended up, that's a common story. There's a woman, she's a little bit out, running wild a little bit, and a kid calms her down. It could be that. We don't know much backstory on, the mom. Or she was just so swept up in the world and decided to focus on loving her son.
Now,
both
if I'm wrong, but like they never really mentioned the father, did they, in the show?
Nope.
Now,
and she's not very much older than him either. She doesn't look very old. Like She could have had him at maybe 19, 20. Not like, 16 or anything like that, but like she's not. Yeah. And no, they never mention a father.
The next couple songs we're going to sort of like lump together because it is literally like an arc. So from Merci Beaucoup, Amsterdam, Keys, and Keys is All Right. It is like a tonal shift, and I think it's done on purpose. This tonal shift of the show, where he is on the airplane in Amsterdam, and everybody's like, "Oh, hello, how are you? Do you want some of this? You want some of this?" And he's like, this is so weird.
It's and then smorgasbord of him getting what he thinks he needs and wants.
And then like when he gets to Amsterdam and he just sees everything. And of course it has our favorite line in it. There is hashish on the menu. It's just like, it is a culture shock to him. And for anybody to go into like an overseas country that is just as freeing as Amsterdam, and especially for the youth looking for not only that freedom, but looking for like that meaning, that light, that spark to make him go, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. And it's just, it's like the veil has been unlifted from him as he's looking around at everything.
Even in the musical choice that happens in that part, the it's such a, you feel like it's a long buildup, or it's the plane landing, so to speak, but it's all a part of the art. I understood very clearly. I'm like, okay, this is definitely transition music. And Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Gaza. It's just kind of a funny song.
It is. It really is. And now keys, which is probably, when I finally understood what keys was really talking about, I cried, because just the juxtaposition from not being able to have anything and strangers looking at you like you're going to do something to them, to a complete stranger saying, oh, are you new in town? You know what? Here are my keys. My roommate is out. She'll be out for a couple of weeks. You can stay with us until you get on your feet, or until you get yourself a hotel or something. Mine was blown. What are your thoughts on keys? Because we could talk about keys literally for the rest of this podcast.
One of my favorites in the whole show, just because it's so pretty too. I see it as two ways. One is his initial perspective, and then one, of course, is now with the lovely hindsight, and it's more of a parallel. So we'll do the first one. She's offering him love and acceptance, the same way that the church should have been like, hey, yeah, we'll help you out. She literally handed a stranger keys to her home. We will clothe the needy, feed the poor, that sort of deal. And here he is in this new country, and that's the real that he gravitated to. Unfortunately, it does not last, but that's his new real. He's seeing, she had this crazy mixed up flat. He's marveling at the art and the freedom that this lady is. This real, oh, she's so real because she's so free. Look at all her stuff everywhere. Look at how she lives her life. She doesn't have to get up and go to church. What? She's smoking hash butt naked on her freaking patio right now? What? Love it. Love it. Give me more of that. And that leads to him having sex. We just had sex.
Now, I love this song because it does have a nice, wonderful, like 20s noir feel to it. It's just like everything is very do 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 do, and it's just cute. But it's like it shows his sexual awakening. You just see that he's just having sex with everyone and everything, like male, female, doesn't matter. He's exploring himself in a new way that he never thought he could. And now the ending line, I love how they're so nonchalant about the only thing I want.
Thank you. I was literally gonna bring that up. Yes. I think sexuality, especially for him after having such a heavy religious background initially, then it's never really brought up in the beginning that he has some sorts of romance, and his reaction to we just had sex, or during we just had sex, alludes that maybe he has not had any sort of romantic interest, definitely has not had sex. So this sensationalized, this hyper indie romantic way that he has now had sex. So he shows up in Amsterdam, this baddie gives him the keys to her place, comes back with a buddy, they're super high on hash, and it's just like, oh, you just want to have some sex? Like real casual.
Now,
What boy would say no?
exactly.
What, like 20-year-old that's, I'm guessing his age right now. Who would say no?
Exactly. Now, we're going to go slightly off topic for like a quick second, though.
Okay.
Not really off topic, it's still on topic, but in the African American community, we really don't talk about sexuality like that. And
No, we
so,
don't. We talk about sex and how you should not do it, or I'm gonna beat your little tail. You better not be out there being a little fast ass. You better not be out here being a little hoe, getting everybody pregnant. You better not get nobody pregnant.
and so to see it like this, presented in such a way, it's almost like making fun of that ideal. And
yes, it very much so, because I don't know too many Black people who have magical, sensationalized stories like his. That sounds like something I would see some white folks do in an indie movie. No offense to anyone, but it's true. It's true. And and especially because seeing that as an all Black cast doing a story like that, it's very freeing. It's very eye-opening. And at the time, me seeing this musical, it showed me that something else was possible.
Amen. Yes. Mm. And then we get to the finale, which is...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't even finish the point. The peril. I said the great part. The peril is in Keys enabling. Keys.
Yes.
Keys, we just had sex. All of this next part, it's enabling. Much like his mother. His mom said it. I hid from the world in you. That's your whole world. Oh, let's get up and go to church today. Here, wear this jacket. Like, she's a very doty type of mother, and it tries to be in the garage band scene. She comes in and is dancing all cute in the background with snacks, and it's like really. He's like, "Mom, get out of here!" Like, so cute, but like she really does try. But this first girl, Mariana, who's the Keys lady, she's representative of his mother, but in a bad way, which is how he ended up leaving, and he made the song Stoned. And we're back.
Now, I will mention this. Mariana is played beautifully by, what was that?
Beautifully.
By Deidre, oh my God, I'm gonna mess up his name. Thank God for editing. I'm gonna take it again. Mariana is beautifully played by Deidre Aziza. Beautifully. Like, even before, like, her portrayal of the popular church girl in the very, very beginning to this is just like, honey, range, love it, yes. Big range. And then we get to the finale of Act One, which is Stone. And I see it as a double meaning. He is starting to realize, that this paradise isn't really what it's cracked up to be. And it's like the old parable, like, don't throw stones into glass houses. He's starting to see all the cracks in the glass, and he's starting to realize that this house isn't really as beautiful as it should be. And also it's like an internal stoning of himself for allowing himself to indulge or overindulge in everything that he's been doing. It's almost as if like the godly aspect of himself was like, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be, and you know you shouldn't be doing this.
Yes, I was just about to say that this song is his conscience, his mom, and everything. Like, okay, let me go to the top.
Go. This is all you, boo.
He's starting to, he can't make music anymore. And when he does get into the groove of the music, it changes. It kind of becomes like he's found the paradise was routine. Yeah. And then he starts, mama, Mariana and her rockin' hash have got me stoned, and I can't find my way home. I was like, that's it right there. He's distracted. He literally just said, I'm distracted. Mariana and her rocking hash have got me stoned, and I can't find my way home. He's realizing, unfortunately, yes, I love you. You're wonderful. Thanks for the good time and the keys, but this ain't it. This is not it. She's serving every one of my desires on a platter, and it doesn't even matter. I think humans, we say we want to relax. We say we want so much peace, but I think people don't even know what they would do with that.
Exactly.
They really don't. Not saying everybody wants to live hard working and struggling and in squalor all the time either. I don't think we're supposed to have an excess of either. And now paradise is a bore. Doesn't even matter anymore. And it's funny that this is his conscious song because his mom comes in at the end too. The conscience. But then you got to go and live it. And that's a whole nother thing. She's talking about her life. She has this big house. She's trying to be happy. I got you this house. You're still not happy. You're not happy there. You're not happy here. I'm not happy with you not here. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then he starts saying that he can't move. He doesn't, he's kind of stunted. He's stuck. He feels writer's block. He's stuck. And she's like, hell, I could buy you a ticket. You could come back home. It's not where you're from. It's where you're at. Hey, let's move to Germany. Sorry, Mom, not really.
And which is, I guess we're just going to go ahead and go right into Berlin because.
And that brings in the last little bit or the theme, the way this song ends. It's right when it was starting to feel real. Now you want to leave. Right when it was starting. And it says it over and over. That's what haunts him. That is his life lesson right there. When shit gets real, you leave.
And he literally goes into Berlin where shit has gotten real. Like
in the middle of a riot.
In the middle of the May Day riots. And I'm just like, so you just went from paradise to literal hell. And the change of costumes from this flowy, pristine to this grunge and dirty. And you're just like,
black painted on face, dark lipstick. Our beautiful soft Mariana is now like this bulging Olga-esque character. Yeah, they were acting. Shout out to the entire cast. Yes.
Now in Act 2, Rebecca Naomi Jones takes over the role of Desi, where before she was
That's who I'm gonna play one day.
Before she was just one of the church girls and extra character in Act 1. So now she is the main character or the main interest for Act 2, which I absolutely love the fact that they do this. Now, really quick, because my favorite character is in Act 2, and that's Mr. Venus, played beautifully by Coleman Domingo. Like, when you first see this character, you're like, okay. But his performance piece is so out there, but at the same token, it has such a message for you. Hang on, I'm going to get, and that's what's inside is just a lie.
Preach.
It's
all a lie.
And as the user's watching Mr. Venus's performance, you can see that he's taking in what he is saying. And he's going, wait.
So impressionable.
Yes. And I mean, even Stew even says it in the lyrics, it's like, you're watching this and your identity isn't your own. So you always pick on somebody else's identity. And so the youth is sort of going, oh, yes, this is who I need to be. This is who I really need. This is who I am. Oh, I'm a protester, a writer. Yes, which is also a wonderful little, not really a callback, but more of a personification that within every African-American male, there's a little bit of anger. And so it plays on that a lot for Act Two. What do you think?
I'm basically on the same page as you. Berlin and Mayday and What's Inside, all of that. And I think he actually does it in the show too. He's literally putting on a new jacket, putting on a new mask, trying something new. He's gone heavier. And he's now, I think it's in the lyrics as well. He's like, because Mayday gave me the courage to bleed. It's like going off. This is the song I couldn't write yesterday. Like, yo. So now he's under the he went from super duper soft to, no, I need to feel and go through some things. And that's when he ends up meeting Desi. He's like, I am gonna impress her at this riot. Hey, how's it going? And she's like, I'm not even buying what you're settling, Mr. American man. You faker. That gets into one of my favorite songs, Identity.
Yes. Now, we never mentioned who plays the youth, and literally this actor is probably one of my favorite actors, and that is Daniel Breaker. He's played so many roles that I have sort of just gone, I'm gonna play that, I'm gonna play that, I'm gonna play that.
He has such good range. He went from this, and if I'm remembering correctly, this is one of the reasons that the show stopped on Broadway. He went and did Donkey and Shrek the Musical, which was freaking phenomenal. He bodied every night. I didn't even think this guy could be funny, but he was hilarious. Yeah.
Range. But yes, Identity. Go ahead.
Range. He's talking. He unfortunately believes that he has gone through so much. I am bleeding sunshine. I am emptying my veins. So dramatic. And this is him telling, hey, this is what I'm doing next. I am purging myself. It's a purge or a purge, but he's not even realizing that he's doing the same thing again, stuffing not his identity into himself really, really fast. And it's just kind of in love with this newness, this process, this new people, this new town, this new real I can cling to now. I also love this song because it's like voicemail recordings of his mom interjected in. And she says, why don't you want to be around your own people? Now, is it family? Is it Black people? Is it, I don't know. It's one of those things that could be up for interpretation.
And you also get like this idea that something is happening to her that she doesn't want him to know just yet. And you're just like, go to your mom.
And it's funny that you say that because he says, 9, mama. No, mama. No. And after he feels like his mother keeps saying, what's become of you? Why haven't you got any sense, child? What's become of you? Haven't you got any sense, child? He repeats that a few times because he's recalling the beating, the metaphorical, emotional beating that he got from people in the church, his own mom. No, that's why he says 9, mama. No, obviously I don't have no sense. I don't. Nope. He says it like a bunch of different times. And then there's more like voicemail sounds. And then he says in German, we have bad connection. Sorry, bad connection, but bad connection, they are failing to connect, not necessarily the phone failing to connect. And then it says it again. why don't you want to be around your own people?
Right.
She really wants her son. But my favorite part is, and I'm sorry for my dirty words here, pain, ego, art. I let my pain fuck my ego and I called the bastard art. That line right there is probably one of the first lines that I really resonated with in this musical when I heard it now, probably a decade ago. I was like, damn, I got a lot of pain. I told myself at the time I did not have a lot of ego, but I knew a lot of art. And I think that's a lot of what good art is. There's pain and ego, but in a different sense of you're getting over your ego. And also you're getting more comfortable with who you and your ego are together. Ego is not necessarily a bad thing, but too much of it, and you'll end up like our guy here on this arrogant, bratty, youthful trip across the world, ignoring the real of his mother's love. So, pain, ego, art.
Preach. Now, the next song, which is the black one, is
That song's so ironic.
It is. It's very ironic. Like he went from not wanting to be the black one to being the black one.
Yo, the girl said, she was like, I envy you. I want to be reincarcerated one day as a black man. I was like, wow. Come on, Stu and Spike Lee. Oh my gosh.
And then like the next song, Come Down Now, where again, you're going into right when it's starting to feel real, like he's literally coming down from being this like super riot hyper person, because Desi's like
high, a different type of high. He's
exactly
doing harder drugs here in Germany, man, and now it's all filled with the angst and anger of riot. He's joining like, a fight that wasn't necessarily his.
Exactly. Desi's like, are you gonna come with us? And he's like, wait, hold on. This isn't what I signed up for. It's like his own mortality.
Called out by Desi, and that's when she ends up screaming, right when it was starting to feel real. She's like, you're doing it again. Desi's my favorite because she called him out. That's love. I think she loved him mega hard. She is so much more like his mom than Mariana was. Ooh.
And then we get to the Youth Unfinished song. This song to me, it's almost as if he's trying to find meaning in a life where the meaning is, hey, just live it. You don't know the ending, so it's never going to be finished. What are your thoughts?
I think,
because like honestly, I feel like the next couple of songs is sort of, again, like the arc. It is the starting to close the show.
Yeah. I think this is his first like real disappointment in regards, well, other than his mother, in his mind, his first real disappointment about women. When he asked Mariana, oh, so if things don't work out in Berlin, I can always come back, right? And she's like, no. But she says it so like softly and nicely. So it didn't really hit him as hard as it should. But now he's basically been cussed out via song. He's called a coward by someone who he really, really loves. And the line I gravitate to in here, she's alone now too, but what's the point of looking for what's not there in you? That's him saying, yo, I thought the real was there in her too, but she done went and called me out. Like, I guess not. I guess I just need to, I kind of feel like this is a coward song.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Just a little bit. This is him showing more of his immaturity as a man. Like, he's only thinking logic and only in his little perspective. He just said it. What's the point of looking for what's not there in you? Like,
Exactly.
it's there. You're just not seeing it, buddy. She told you a truth. She told you a really strong truth. You have an inability to show up when shit gets real.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and sort of glaze over a couple songs. I'm going to go to cue music. Now, Passing Phase.
Okay, I was like, we cannot.
Passing Phase. So when I was doing a little bit of research for this show, I was like, okay, Passing Strange. I've heard that somewhere before. And then it hit me. Oh, hell. That's a line in Othello, said by Othello.
Break it down.
And so I'm like, okay, so the song Passing Phase, it is literally like, hey, you went through all of these phases. And now it's time for you to go, okay, what is the true you? Which one of these phases is you? And then you kind of realize that none of them were. What are your thoughts?
Currently. Passing Phase. To me, this is kind of like his last little metaphorical temper tantrum.
Right.
I'll grow colder, I'll grow bolder, I'll grow older, and then keeps going. And the last one is, but I'll never grow up. And this is not a passing phase. No, I'm really serious. I'm just going to keep touring and doing what I want to do with my life and forget you and forget you're real and whatever else. And the ensemble is saying, it was just a passing phase. No, this is not a passing phase. It was just a passing phase. Like, it really is. I think that he got so used to the distractions, which bringing back the whole biblical and spiritual illusions, when we lean into the distractions and the excuses and our routine and our real as it's presenting itself, we end up losing grasp on the real, which is love.
Exactly.
That's the reality. So him saying, I'll dance to my own metronome, still chaos, till chaos feels like home. You're opting for not doing the hard spiritual work, not accepting the real, not returning home, not dealing with your mother, not dealing with your emotions, not dealing with yourself, not growing up.
Exactly.
So, of course, you're going to keep missing it. Chaos is not supposed to be home. It's not. At the end of the day, it's really, really not. So him choosing, I'll dance to my own metronome till chaos feels like home. Are you that hurting? Are you that angry at that first little morsel of rejection? And the line in the play was, she slapped him back into himself. Did that bother you so much? And even after the crazy things that you've seen, you still choose to remain with your hands up on the sidelines of life and not feeling and dealing with the real.
I just love how poetic this entire freaking show is.
Yes.
And then we get into the cue music.
We gotta get to the narrator's part. Yo.
Oh, yes. Go.
And then please. Keith, I think this is probably the first part of the show that Keith showed to me. Wish we could talk about how the means will not prepare you for the ends, how your epiphanies become fair weather friends, how death will make you lower your defenses. Exactly. The only truth of youth is the grown-up consequences. See, song is a bong, but song cannot heal. You believed in it too long. Now I need something more than real. Those two stanzas at the end of that long, and that's what the narrator or Stew sings, staring at what we now know as himself. Youth is younger Stew.
Now, the audience didn't, well, at least I didn't pick up on it until like this song that they're both wearing red.
Yep.
And I was like,
Black.
oh,
Mhm.
so this is the story of Stew. This is his life.
It's his freaking testimony. It is, he is telling about his human condition and how he felt that shit really hard. And that, oh God, this whole thing is just beautiful. He said, your song was just passing for love. My song was just passing for love, and we will never see her again. All the song, the drugs, the Amsterdam, Mariana, Berlin, all of that stuff was the bong, the distraction. Only love is real. Period. And especially a mother's love. Your mother's love might seem insane. It's because she really knows everything. Like, mom, I'm convinced most moms do know a little bit of everything. Shoot, I know Wanda do. Shout out to Wanda. Love you, mom. What are your thoughts on the narrator's bit of that? Oh, so rich.
It is like the story of almost every African American to me, every African American male, that we look back on our lives and we go, oh, I wish I can change this. Or I wish I can just go back and do this one thing differently. So that way my life now could be just a little bit better. The narrator, just throughout the entire show, to me, he's living through a lot of his, I don't want to say internal trauma, but he's living through a lot of the events that made him who he is today. So you have the passing phase. It's just that. It's a passing phase. Now, we get to cue music. First, let me just say, Issa Davis, who plays the mother, she literally has like a couple of scenes, but every time she is on stage, she owns it.
Chills.
And she takes it. This song is between her and Stew. For the first time, the son is looking at the mother, and it's one of those. Stew is almost like, I wish I had listened. I wish I had took the cue that you were giving me to come home, because you were dying, but now it's too late.
This song has made me cry.
It's so good.
And it's so short and simple.
Mm-hmm.
She says, don't be sad about your chosen path and where it's taken you thus far, because this is what you did. And honey, that is who you are. But the most important part is, and it's all right.
Oh, yes, that very
because they go back and forth. Like he says, and he sings it like it's kind of raspy and softly, almost like he's crying, like, Mama, is it really all right? He says, is it all right? And she's like, yes, it's all right. Is it all right? Like they just go back and it's so haunting and beautiful. And I know so many people who want to hear those things from their mom. Mm-hmm. And like his mother passed away. Mm-hmm. So of course all of this is happening in his mind, his mind, you know, in the play. He comes home, and that's when he has that that's when the passing phase song happens. It's like right after the funeral, and he's all angsty. All right, you know what, I'm leaving again. And then this is when Stew, grown up, or the narrator, addresses him, and it's like, hey, some things need to change. And then mom shows up, and oh gosh, just beauty.
And then we get to the final song or moment of the show, which is Love Like That.
Yep. When I used to rule everything, the sun and the moon and the rain, my domain. Yes.
It's a nice, beautiful end for this musical that has taken the audience on such a journey that this song is just like, hey, okay, it's cool. Because then, like, at that point you realize, oh, well, obviously everything turned out all right because we see Stew right now. What are your thoughts on it?
I love the it's a long bit, but it's like he says the universe is a toy in the mind of a boy, and life's a movie too, starring you. Your whole family's the cast and crew. That's a little secret between God and you. So he's recognizing God there. That's very big, and it shows that there's a journey here. There's some growth. Ain't it strange? But ain't it strange how it all makes perfect sense when your life becomes evidence that you need to feel love is more than real.
Amen.
That's the whole thing. That's right there. Meaning
thing.
He's learned his lesson, meaning his mother, and that's how he honors his mother. And that's how that acknowledgement of God is also a way to honor his mother. He may not know God and feel and see God the way that she did, but he does know him because he recognizes his mother's love and the fact that it is real. Just the acknowledgement of that means he's acknowledging God. So, and then he tells the truth. Too bad it takes so long to see what you've been missing. Because the real is a construct. It's the raw nerves private zone. I didn't know what that meant for the longest time. It's a personal sunset you drive off into alone. And that's how the show ends. And it's just so, it's the raw nerves private zone. It's that the vulnerable bit, especially as Black men. You know, I'm not a Black man, but I know Black men, and as a Black woman, it's hard to be vulnerable.
It is very hard.
I have so many freaking nerve private zones. Like the real, once you find it, the real it, you'll know it, because those raw nerve private zones will be super firing, meaning that, hey, it's time for you to do some work. It's time for you to grow. It's time for you to just accept and feel this love. Because guess what? It's the only thing that's real.
Yes, exactly. Oh,
poetry. I love this show.
All right, really quick. We're going to go through the next couple topics really, really quickly. Top 3 songs. Go.
Oof. Oh, God. Passing Phase. Identity or Pain, Ego, Art, and Keys.
Mine will have to be definitely Keys. Oh God. There's so many. Hang on, I'm looking. I know. Right now. Cue music, yes. So I'll say cue music, Passing Phase, and Keys. Those are the 3. But like,
beautiful.
Like the entire show, which is great.
Yep.
All right. So we already gave kind of like what our random thoughts of the show was in the very, very beginning. So let's go ahead and skip that part and go right into a rating scale. So what would you rate the show?
Out of like 5 stars? Or is it like
from A to F, or A plus to F? The part of me wants to really give
my super biased opinion, because I'm fangirl, I would say A plus. Being, more, I guess, picky and realistic, I would say probably a B.
A B? Okay. So that means together we have a B plus for it, which I absolutely love. Now, what are your final thoughts on this before we go ahead and wrap this part up?
Okay. I cannot wait to keep living life and watching this show throughout my life and finding more beautiful things. I'm very reflective, and so I've always seen, I see the parallels between the youth and myself and other people in the youth and the mom and my mom, and that's what good art is supposed to do. So I believe that this show captures a human experience, that a unique human experience at that, so beautifully. Everything about the show does it for me. The small, intimate cast, the staging, the lighting choices that they choose, like the music, even they even have like certain things done like in little jokes or things only how do I want to say this? Like in We Just Had Sex, how Stu, even though he's a part of the band, he does the little joke, the work it, work it, work it, work it, work it, with the sound on the guitar, or in the noir scene argument between the son and the mom. He says, she says something about him being so childish or something. Don't you ever want to grow up? And he was like, well, I remain a child. And he just is so nuanced and so he's so real. I've seen him so many places. It's easy to see these characters out in the world. It is easy to see these distractions, his own distractions, out in the world. There's a big truth here, and I would love more people to do this show, and I would love to do this show, of course. And I would love to see it live as well. Like that would be such a treat. Like truly, truly. I think more people need to see this show. Big time. I love this show forever. Love you, Stu. Thank you.
Well, Alyshia, thank you for being on this podcast.
Thank you, Kenny.
It has been a blast talking with you about the show. We both love the show so much, and it's evident with how we were talking about it. So thank you again, and until next time, everyone.
The whole note, whole note, whole ass note.
All right, my final thoughts. Passing Strange is one of those musicals that, as an African-American actor, I finally felt seen in something. I saw myself in so many characters that were on this stage that I went, oh my God, I can play that role. Or, oh my God, I can play that role. It is when you have a show like that as a performer that really like resonates with you, it is such a positive influence for you. And it pushes you forward to want to excel and exceed in performing and wanting to be in that said musical. And like I said, Passing Strange is definitely one of those for me. The story for me is very poignant. It is very, very touching between the mother and the son, because God knows me and my mother are literally like this. My mother, love her to death. She says, you will always be my baby until the moment you're no longer my baby. And I'm like, well, when is that? She's like, well, either I go or you go. And I'm like, oh God. But yes, the mother and son dynamic is very, 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 very much like my real life. The sense of longing and looking for community, looking for acceptance is very, very like poignant to me. And the character of the youth and his journey trying to find the one thing that makes him him. We've all been there. We have all been there. So to go ahead and break this down for you. This is the part where my final thoughts is where I give my opinion on the musical that we had just discussed. And then using a 5-star grading scale, I will break the musical down into 5 different categories: music, story, comedy, drama, and replayability. Finally, I will give it an overall letter grade with the help of opera singer Marcia Lundra. So I'm gonna go ahead and just break it down for you right now, since I've already given you my final opinion on it. So for music, Stu and Heidi Rodewald wrote this gorgeous score where no song is alike, but every song has almost like an undertone of nuance to each and every one to further progress the story. So for music, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. For story, definitely 5 stars. The story of Passing Strange is, I can't even explain it. It is one of those musicals where, as you're watching it, and as the events unfold in front of you, you are just struck and in awe by everything that is happening. And you're like, is this real life? Is this really happening? And then when you realize that this is the story of Stu, it just makes you go, oh, wow, wow. So yeah, for story, definitely 5 stars. For comedy, there are so many funny moments in this show. From the preacher's son all the way up to the artsy performance portrayed by the same person, comedic gold. The dramatic noir of the son and the mother having their moment is gold. So I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Drama, there is a lot of drama in this show, but the drama is, I don't want to say it's not as amped up. There are moments where it's amped up, and then there's moments where it's just where it needed to be. But like the last moments of the show is why I'm giving drama 4 stars. The interaction between the son and the mother, and then the interaction between Stu and the mother, as a mama's boy, that really just my heart. So yes, for drama, I'm definitely going to give it 4 stars. For replayability, oh yes, I will replay this musical often. But like it's one of those musicals that you can't play too often, because then you're just going to be in a very, very depressing state, and no one wants that. No one wants that. So for replayability, I'm going to give it 4 stars. So for my overall grade for this show, it is a tough one for me because of my personal bias with the show. I really want to give it an A, but based on the cast recording alone, I'm going to give it a B. Because from the cast recording, yes, you get the show, yes, you get the production, but it's not until you see it that it makes you go, oh, this is so much more than just a cast recording. So yeah, overall, I'll give this show a B. So, Marseille, give me that B, honey. Beautiful. And that's Passing Strange. Now, Passing Strange won a Tony Award for Best Book of a Musical, and it won 3 Drama Desk Awards for Outstanding Musical, Outstanding Lyrics, and Outstanding Music. It had its first preview February 8th, 2008 at the Belasco Theater, and it opened February 28th, 2008, and had a closing night of July 20th, 2008, which means it had 20 previews and 165 performances. You can purchase the cast recording through Amazon, as well as stream it on Spotify. You can watch the Spike Lee documentary, which includes the full performance, by renting it or purchasing it through Amazon, Apple, or YouTube. You can purchase the script for $12 from Dramatist Play Services, or DPS, and you can apply for the links through them as well, which I will put in the description. And that's it. So next week, we get to discuss another one of my favorite musicals, Pippin. So until then, stay beautiful, you amazing creature. Take care. Thank you for tuning into The Whole Note. The Whole Note is recorded at Roxy Regional Theatre in Clarksville, Tennessee. Intro and outro, The Bumble by Joshua Pyron, and was inspired by The Flight of the Bumblebee. Grading scale notes sung by Marseille Alundra. This podcast is edited and produced by me, Kenneth L. Waters Jr. Tune in next week and discover a new musical. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, stay amazing, you beautiful creature.